In September 2024, China launched a DF-31AG intercontinental ballistic missile from Hainan Island, sending a powerful message across the Indo-Pacific. This rare long-range test was China's boldest display of nuclear capability in decades. The road-mobile missile, difficult to track, was likely moved to Hainan for this very demonstration. Internally, it aimed to boost the reputation of the People's Liberation Army rocket force. Externally, it signaled China's readiness to assert its status as a global power with a credible nuclear deterrent. Launching from Hainan allowed China to avoid overflying other nations, sidestepping diplomatic fallout while still making its point. The Pentagon was notified in advance, a move that both reduced risk of miscalculation and showcased China's confidence. This event highlights China's growing assertiveness and the modernization of its nuclear arsenal. The world is watching as China changes the strategic calculus in the region. The message is clear. China is prepared to demonstrate its strength when it chooses. The Indo-Pacific security environment just got more complicated. China's advanced missiles now threaten U.S. military bases across the Indo-Pacific, from Japan to Guam. A concentrated missile strike could cripple runways and support facilities, grounding U.S. air power at a critical moment. The vulnerability of these large fixed bases is now a central concern for American planners. China's carrier killer missiles, like the DF-21D and DF-26, also force U.S. aircraft carriers to operate farther from shore, limiting their effectiveness. The era when U.S. bases were safe rear areas is over. China's modernization has moved the front line to America's doorstep. The U.S. must now rethink how it projects power and supports allies in a crisis. The balance of power in the Pacific is shifting. American air power in the Pacific depends on long, exposed runways, prime targets for China's precision missiles. Even with missile defenses, a saturation attack could render runways unusable and devastate support infrastructure. Fuel depots, ammo stores, and command centers are all vulnerable, and defending every node is nearly impossible. Pre-positioning repair kits and supplies across the vast Pacific is a daunting, expensive task. The cost for China to launch missiles is far less than the cost for the U.S. to defend or repair. The old assumption of untouchable air bases is gone. Without a new approach, U.S. air power could be neutralized in the opening hours of a conflict. This vulnerability is forcing a hard look at America's military posture. The stakes are high and time is running out to adapt. The U.S. Air Force must shift from concentrating forces at a few large bases to a strategy built on agility and resilience. A runway-independent Air Force, using aircraft that can operate from short or improvised runways, complicates China's targeting. Dispersing smaller units across more locations makes attacks less effective. Deepening collaboration with Indo-Pacific allies is essential, building a distributed, layered defense network. Helping partners acquire their own anti-access capabilities and sharing intelligence strengthens the region's deterrence. Rapid runway repair and pre-positioned supplies in hardened, dispersed sites are now priorities. Logistics and recovery may not be glamorous, but they're vital for survival. The new focus is deterrence through resilience, showing adversaries that the U.S. and its allies can absorb a first strike and keep fighting. This demands a fundamental change in mindset and investment. Flexibility and survivability are now the keys to stability in the Pacific. Asia's security landscape is shaped not just by weapons, but by shifting alliances, especially between China and North Korea. Beijing once restrained Pyongyang, but that dynamic is changing as China hesitates to rein in its volatile neighbor. With less Chinese pressure, North Korea is emboldened, complicating U.S. efforts to manage the threat. This shift creates both challenges and opportunities for American diplomacy. By understanding China's security concerns, the U.S. might persuade Beijing to re-engage constructively on the Korean peninsula. The interplay between China's military rise, its North Korea policy, and the U.S. response will define Indo-Pacific security. Miscalculation or miscommunication could have global consequences. Staying informed is crucial for understanding the delicate balance of power. The stakes for peace and stability in the region have never been higher.